Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be looking at the gameplay of Sweden Strong, position 4 player for level up, and specifically talking about what you can do as a support player to make better movements, better plays, and specifically get more shit done, get more kills. And so without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day I'm posting a new video to the GameLeap website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken, click the link down below and sign up. Alright, so to start the video, I want to give you guys a bit of context on the game we're going to be watching. His team has quite a high tempo team, at least they can do that, right? They have stun plus Inkswell in the form of Dawnbreaker or Dragonite. They also even have Shadow Demon Purge into Inkswell. And so they have a decent amount of setup for Inkswell. And this is important because when you're playing with Inkswell, you want to have setup stuns, right? So this is already a good Grim game. It was obviously drafted in Captain's mode. The next thing to consider is they have a Dawnbreaker. This is one of the highest tempo heroes in all of Dota because of the fact that the ultimate allows you to play fast, get active, and get stuff done. And so putting all this together, what I like that he does here, on the 9-minute wave, he's going to come mid, it's nighttime, and I think that's important because it's easier to set up plays during the nighttime. During the daytime, if you want to push mid tower or you want to try to get a kill, you kind of need to be smoked. And so in a game like this where you have to lead with Dragon Tail, you either need them to go on you or you need to catch them off guard during the night. And so we're going to kind of see that play out. He picks up his mana boots, his Dragonite is going to get poked a little bit, right? He actually shows himself and they even know he's here. But they get a disruption because it's nighttime and they're going to go for the Inkswell into Donald and they're going to use that all together. They're going to get a nice kill on the Invoker. From there, he gets an incredible ultimate on the 2, and I like that he skills it. Some Grimstroke players won't skill their ulti at level 6. I personally think if you're hitting a decent mana boots timing, you should. The only downside of the spell, in my opinion, is that you're not getting your Phantom Sprays to level 3 faster, and it costs a good amount of mana. But in a game like this with the decent mana boots timing, skilling it up to link to supports like this is extremely powerful. They weren't able to move nearly as far as they wanted to, and it results in a triple kill. So I think this movement in particular from the supports of Level Up is extremely good. They understand the strength of the Dawnbreaker, they understand the strength of the nighttime, they come mid, they collapse, and they get the job done. So the next play is on the shard timing. So if you don't know what Grimstroke shard does, it causes Inkswell to do more damage and heal the target. However, the most important part of it, when the Inkswell is procced, which by the way, you decide when it happens, when the Inkswell goes off, they get Strong Dispel. Strong Dispel includes everything, every stun in the game. Right? Well, outside of like Black Hole because it's channeled, right? And so in a game like this, Overgrowth will get dispelled. Cold Snap, Spirit Vessel, Ravage, Terrorize, all of Willow's spells. Not to be fair, there's not that many hard stuns on the enemy team that will actually come up later in the video too, but it still doesn't matter. With the Shard, he understands he's actually a save hero in Grimstroke. It's kind of weird because this hero has never played this role, but in a game like this where they don't feel like there's a kill mid, right? They just don't see an opportunity mid. They don't have any good wards. What is his job? Well, his job is to set up for Roshan if that's an opportunity. His job is to help his cores get down a side lane, whether or not that's by placing a deep ward, tanking a gank, or saving them if you have a save spell. And in this game, that's what he's going to do. He's just going to sit behind this guy, and if they go on him, he will swell them, drop his ulti, and silence. Right? It's a lot of impact if he gets those spells off. This allows the Dawn to confidently get down the lane. Now she keeps going, which is honestly a bit insane, but perhaps they were afraid of the confidence of the Dawn, and I think that's partially because Grimstroke wasn't showing. And just to finish off the back end of that play, I think it's very impressive what he does next, which is he immediately realizes he needs to contest the 20-minute rune. It's a pretty cheeky play, but using one of the disruptions of Shadow Demon, he's going to swell it, and that's going to allow them to try to secure the rune. I thought that was very cheeky, very cute, and I wanted to include it. So next up is nothing crazy, but I do like covering fundamentals more than anything, because frankly, plays like this are the most important plays, right? Like, yes, the mid play is key. That one got so much work done in the early game. Helping your cores get down the side lanes is massive, but just being in position and casting your spells properly at the right time is really the main thing that's going to make you a high MMR player. I'm not just saying that, that's what it is. If you don't believe me, well, you're screwed, because that it is what it is. It really is what it is. But okay, in this team fight, they're smoked up contesting Roche. What's your job this game, guys? It's very simple. Swell the Dragonite and then get a good ulti off, right? Be behind them. Don't be stacked on them, right? So you can see good positioning. Swell on the pop of the smoke. Dragonite's going to go in. Finds a good jump onto the Treant. he's going to silence the Treant, right? No spells being casted here, and he knows that if he gets that silence off, if the Treant dies, it will come back to him, so it's a good idea. From there, he needs to pop mana boots. Extremely high awareness, not fundamentals. I would argue that this is quite advanced, but he does realize he needs to pop it. Why? Dragonite got his mana burned by the EMP. This puts Dragonite up to 177 mana, so he can actually cast his spells. Not to be fair, he had a magic wand, but it's like just great awareness, you know what I mean? Like, these are things where it's just like, this guy is aware of what's going on, you know? And from there, even though his ulti is only level 1 and has pretty bad cast range, with some good patience, partially because he got rooted by the Dark Willow, he's able to get in, and I mean, this is obviously a great ulti, right? Ulti onto 2, silence onto 2, goes in, then swells, probably swell into the wrong person, ends up stunning the PL, which he was very quick to use, right? You could see. I'm going to replay that. So as he puts the swell on the Grim, he sees the TP going off just so fast, gets the TP cancel, gets the kill, and they win the fight. Alright, minute 25, we have a sweet play here. This is just a nice conceptual play that I use in my pubs all the time. It sometimes takes a little bit of coordination from your team to understand what you're trying to do, but let me explain it to you guys right now. When you're ahead in the game, the enemy team is often going to dodge you. They're not going to take the fight. Now, if they do take the fight and you're super far ahead, then this point of the video doesn't have any point for you. Just fight them. But if they're dodging you and you try to go high ground, but you can't go high ground, you're kind of just losing the game slowly, or at least letting them come back into the game. And so what do you do in these scenarios? Well, you don't push down the lane, you smoke, and you go across the lane. Now, it's important that before you do this, you clear the next creep wave, and the reason why is if you don't do this, it will often become obvious to the enemy team that you're not pushing top, you're rather going across the map. Now, to be fair, I would have even liked them to show an actual hero. I guess they kind of do that with the disruption, because how human beings work, guys, is most of the time they're playing on intuition. Oh, I see an icon top. They're not thinking this, but it's like, it's their subconscious. They see an icon top, and they're like, okay, bot is safe. That is how players work. That is how decent Dota players work. And so they see these icons top. They're like, okay, right, we feel safe. AM now shows mid, so we see the AM. They're like, all right, we're chilling, right? But all the meanwhile, Dawn is pushing in bot, and they're sweeping across the map. So instead of going high ground into a Ravage, into Treant armor, they smoke across, and frankly, they get a pretty fortunate, but, right, yes, it's a little bit lucky, but at the same time, you know, they were playing for that scenario. They were hoping to bump into PL, and they were fortunate enough to find him. And worst case scenario, if they don't find him, let's take a look. They have a lane ward top. They have a lane ward mid. They've cleared them out of bottom. It will be incredibly easy to read where the enemy team is going now, because you have wards in both of the other lanes. You've kicked them out of the lane where you don't have wards. Just kidding, they do. These guys are so good. They actually have 3 lane wards, which is what you want to do when you're winning the game, by the way. You want to place lane wards to scout the enemy movements when they're trying to clear your creep waves, right? That's how you're going to shut down the map and stop them from pushing any of your towers and gaining any real map control. And finally, for the last clip of the video, I don't think this is actually great gameplay from him, but there's one thing that I really do like, which is, okay, they're camping the hill, but he's in a weird position. Now, I believe he thinks they're roshing, so I think to a large extent, this is just a good play from Yellow Submarine. They expect him to be roshing, and so he ends up getting caught out. Now, to be fair, the Tide kind of goes for some YOLO Ravage, and he gets jumped. And this looks pretty bad, right? He's getting jumped right off the bat. Now, to be fair, committing Ravage for a support kill, it's okay some games. You know, if the support's truly 1v9ing the game, it's alright. But what I really like about his gameplay is that he gets his ulti off and he gets his swell off. You might be like, Speed, come on. Is that really a big deal? Is that why this guy's good? No, it's not the exact reason why he's good, but it's certainly a main reason why he's good, because a lot of people panic and die. It's actually a main theme for a lot of my support coaching students over the years, which is get your shit off when you're dying. Get whatever it is, get any nuke, any spell, get it off. Get your spells off when you're dying, right? Because it's gonna have impact. It's gonna have a lot of impact in a lot of cases. In this team fight, it wins the fight. And I'm not just saying that. Look at this swell, but look at the ulti. The ulti does not connect to illusions, right? So it links the PL with the Tidehunter. This allows for a 2-man Shadow Demon ulti. The swell eventually will kind of help out the Dragonite because it will dispel him, but most importantly, it sets up for them to be able to chain stun the PL. This only happens because of the link. Right, that's it. You can't tell me otherwise, because there's no other explanation for why PL dies here. He got linked, couldn't move, partially because of a Shadow Demon ulti, but mostly because of the leash, and he ends up dying, right? Just great. Good awareness, good reaction time, understands the most 2 important spells for him to get off are the ulti and the swell. In some cases, maybe the silence, especially if the silence will save you, okay? But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you learned quite a bit. Thought this was just a solid replay with some really solid plays, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.